Worksop! Come on, Worksop!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tiger Talk, the official Worksop Town podcast. Before I tell you what's happening today, we have a guest. Luke's away and we have videographer Michael Hothersall, who has stepped in for this week. Mike, how are you doing and how does it feel to be making your debut?
I'm good, thank you. It's not something I've done before, but we're going to be talking about some good stuff today, so yeah, exciting.
Well, as Mike said, we're going to be discussing his time with the club so far and the Tigers' view, but we'll also review Saturday's draw with Eastwood Community and preview the replay that's coming up on Wednesday night. We also have a special feature with Aaron Sennett-Neilson, who is not only quizzed by me, but answers your questions that you have submitted. So, let's get into today's episode.
Something tells me I'm late to something. Something tells me I'm late to something. Woke up this morning feeling fine.
So let's start with the FA Cup. Worksop Town 4, Eastwood Community. Obviously the Tigers led 4 times during the game through Baxendale, Stephen McDonnell and a double from Aaron Sennett-Neilson, but Eastwood equalised on each occasion. It was a frustrating afternoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was frustrating, obviously, to go for a replay as well. It's another game to the schedule, and as we saw on Saturday and against Sheffield FC, the squad's not massive. You've got to admit that suspensions, injuries, they all add up. But that's to the back of the minds now. We've got to look forward to the replay. Hopefully, control the game. I mean, there was a lot of positives from Saturday. Backs of Macca's first goals of the season. Fantastic display from Sennett-Neilson. Much more positive going forward. High tempo at the beginning of the game. So there's a lot of positives to take from the game. But going into Wednesday night's replay, I think personally, control the game throughout, and hopefully the quality will prevail.
Let's hone in on that attack style. Obviously, we pride ourselves on our attacking play, as Baxendale stressed many times when you talk to him. Through pre-season, we've seen all of that. And on Saturday, bear the defensive performance. We the first goal, great ball through from Macca to Baxendale, who finished that off. Sennett-Neilson's goal came off the bar and it did cross the line. A fantastic picture from Lewis Pickersgill afterwards confirmed that. Macca then scored a powerful header, but Aaron Sennett-Neilson's fourth was absolutely sensational, and it's just a matter of time before we get to see them goals sort of win these games rather than worrying about the defensive side when it clicks.
Yeah, I think you look at last Tuesday's game against Sheffield FC. We really controlled the game, and the thing is, it's the start of the season. Any team that we're coming against now, there's a lot of new teams, so we're just feeling each other out, and hopefully the solidity in defence will come. I already think it's there. It's just little things that are sometimes missing, sometimes a bit of complacency. But overall, the team's been fantastic going forward, and I'm sure that defensive solidity will come.
As we've already seen, this league has thrown up a couple of surprises. Obviously, we lost to Yorkshire Amateur on the opening day, 3-0. This weekend, they lost 7-0 to Hebburn Town, who started their campaign with a 1-0 defeat to, I think, Frickley. So it just shows how much things can turn in the opening weeks until everything settles down and like I said, the dust settles. Let's talk about our opponents then. Eastwood, it was their first ever FA Cup campaign. Obviously got a little bit lucky in terms of Bottisford fielding an eligible player, which, you've got to stick to the rules and stuff like that, but not to take anything away from their performance. Great on the counter-attack, but with that in mind and with the run-up to the game and their form and their managerial situation, it was sort of a free hit for them. Yeah,
you've got to give credit to Eastwood. Going down 4 times and then coming back 4 times. There's a lot of credit to them coming to a team like us. They must have felt very nervous, but on the pitch they didn't show that. Obviously, they was very leaky at the back as well. But to come back from four times, you've got to give credit to them. But yeah, to the replay, they'll feel very confident. But again, it's just about that control, and hopefully the Tigers will have the control, and hopefully the quality will prevail this time round. So,
before we talk more about the replay on Wednesday night, obviously Eastwood came in with Jamie Jetson resigning, and had to sort of have the under-18s coach Scott Messam and Adrian Gibson whilst in caretaker charge, whilst their manager sort of took his first steps in watching the side. And they had quite a few 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds on the bench that didn't make it on, which is a positive for them. But now let's hear from Craig Parry. So Craig, a thrilling FA Cup fixture. What's your initial thoughts on the overall performance from our side?
I'm disappointed really. I showed my anger with him at half time, and I've certainly shown my anger there at full time with him. You're leading 4 times, and we come away from here now. We should be thinking about us on Tuesday night, but we're not. We're actually, thinking about going away to Eastwood and trying to put, the things right that we got wrong today. And if we're wanting to perform at a decent level this year and do well, then we have to do a lot better, especially defensively, a lot better. Really frustrated. How disappointing was it that every time we went edge forward that they just kept battling and we kind of allowed them just to get back in it? I think the counter attacks that they did, you can count. The carbon, apart from the set play, obviously that they're taken, it's carbon copy of each goal. And to be fair, we can't just we've got to have a serious think on how we set ourselves up at the minute in time, because as much as I want to go out there and play expansive football, as much as we're getting hit on the counter too many times, and they're taking the chances. And fair play to Eastwood today. Credit to them. I think they came and did very well. To spell the matters, and they did that well. And to be fair, they took 4 good goals, but my defending was, overall not good enough. Obviously, you were forced into a change early on with Aaron coming on, and he had a phenomenal performance there. Would you agree? Aaron's been brilliant. I've just said again, I'll reiterate what I said in the changing room there. There's one person there can have a pat on the back in my mind. That's Aaron. He's been unbelievable, really. I think he's been unbelievable this season, and he's hurting teams. He's grown up, and fair play to him. Like you said, it's not just been this game. Got a start against Sheffield FC, made an impact against Yorkshire Amateur. Yeah. Just how impressive has he been over these last couple of games? I've been really impressed with him. And I've promised him I'll give him his chance, and he's taken it. He's got all the ability in the world as the lad, and he should be flying high with confidence at the minute in time. I think what he needs is, as a young pup like that, he needs the experienced lads around him, or the lads that have played at an higher level to step up and look after him, and do their bit defensively, do their bit working hard for the team, which allows him then to go do his magic and go hurt teams. But at the minute, it probably just sums up where we are at the minute in time. It's like a roller coaster. You go up there where we were last Saturday, then you switch a button. You go to Tuesday, which we were unplayable, and then you switch a button today, and we have concede 4 sloppy goals as we've conceded, and now we're having to go put things right Tuesday. What will you be wanting from your side on Tuesday, which was different today? I think personally to take responsibility. I think each individual now needs to take responsibility in the goals that are conceded, because you can look at it 2 ways really. You can say 7 goals in 2 games, or you can say conceded 7 goals in 2 games, and to me I'm looking at the opposite side, because the reality is that they have to now take responsibility for their own performances, not just scoring goals but defensively, and take responsibilities of putting the body on line, helping the teammates, taking responsibility for their own defending the box, set plays, stopping counter-attacks, picking up second balls. You know, in that change room, don't get me wrong, there's bags of frightening ability, but if you don't do the ugly side to the game, then it's not going to work. And you know, for me, they've got a big week now coming up for them, and they have to do the ugly side of the game to even, you know, to even have a chance really at the minute.
So that was Craig. Obviously, as you could probably tell from the tone of his voice, and if you watched the post-match on Saturday, he wasn't happy with the defensive performance of the side, and you could tell the frustration in his voice. And obviously, calling for his side to take a bit of responsibility for that performance.
Yeah, I think he knows the calibre of players that he's got. Very experienced, and obviously in games like this. When we are going into those leads and you've got 5-10 minutes left to hold on to a lead, that experience should prevail. So obviously that's why he's angry. But I'm sure and hopefully on Wednesday that energy should transfer to the players and hopefully have much more control of the game and yeah, hopefully a better result as well.
So we move on to Wednesday night. Eastwood, obviously, in the FA Cup replay. And it's another game to stretch our smaller squad, but it's a chance to put things right.
Yeah, it's not a situation ideally we should be in, but we've just got to move on. We've got to play the game our way. Hopefully, get a few more goals like we have been scoring a lot in the past few games, and hopefully control the game much more better and be a bit more solid in defence as well. So in a way, yeah, it is another fixture, but it's something that we can put right. It's something that we can take from the first game and then straight away into the replay, make things right.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to go in there, you know, put a full 11 out, you know, one of our strongest ones, and sort of start to build up momentum again. Obviously, we got that against Sheffield FC and we took a little bit of a knock now. But if we could, you know, obviously the game's coming up. We're going to face Stockton, then we've got our bit of rivals, Frickley, on the Monday following. So, yeah. Again, it's a bit tighter. Obviously, 1 day of rest. But if we could build up that momentum, it could just kickstart our season, like we've been saying. And if we had won on Saturday, I'd have been a lot more confident going into the Ossett game. So, you know, putting them back to back. Yeah. And I think that's what's needed. So if we do win on Wednesday night at, I think it's the Holbrook Stadium, and they're, so they have a 3G surface as well. So familiar settings for ourselves. And obviously we've not got going yet at home. So it's a chance to acclimatise to the surface and get some performances. And as I said, should we win on Wednesday night, it sets up a home fixture against Newport Pagenal Town in the first qualifying round of the FA Cup. And Michael, what can you tell us about Newport?
Yeah, so they're in the United Counties League. So again, at the the same level as Eastwood. So games that we should be winning, but you've got to give respect to these teams as well. They will come fighting. They know they are within a fighting chance if they do bring their A game. So yeah, it's obviously we've got to get through the replay first. So that'll be an exciting game on Wednesday night. But yeah, if we do go through, hopefully a bit much more control. We'll set up a good next round in the FA Cup, and it's a home game as well. So I mean, on Saturday I saw quite a few new faces, spoke to a few new people. So that's the magic of the FA Cup. It will bring new faces. It will hopefully bring more people through the gates as well. So.
Yep, and they'll be coming into this tie full of confidence. In the previous round, they beat Histon FC 4-1, and obviously Histon are in the pitching in Northern Premier League. So it sort of justifies not justifies our result on Saturday, but it just shows that no one gets handouts in the FA Cup. You've got to earn your win, and if you underestimate opponents, then they could come at you.
Oh yeah, that's the FA Cup. We see it at a higher level, and in the latter rounds, smaller teams will always come sharp. They will come and fight, and I'm sure, like Eastwood have done, and something that we've got to address in a replay. But if we do get through, I'm sure it's something that Newport will try and do as well. So.
So hopefully we can get a good result on Wednesday night, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you down there, and that'll set up another game in the FA Cup, which Michael has the opportunity to capture now. Obviously, Michael came in as a videographer at the start of the season. So before we get more into that, Michael, do you want to give a little bit of your background in videography?
Yeah, so it's been great to come in and do what I'm doing for the club. I've come from a strong background in film. So yeah, I'm just trying to put that into sport. I've got a really big passion for football. I'm a local lad in Worksop. I followed the Tigers since I was about 10, back in the when we was in the National League North. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey, but it's been great to just be part of the club in this sense. And from what I've heard so far, it's been some really good content. People have enjoyed it. I'm very skeptical of my work, but yeah, I've really enjoyed learning new things, learning new techniques, because it's something that I've not particularly got a lot of experience in. So as much as it's been great for the club to get this sort of content out, it's been great for me as well to learn new things, to get more crafty with the camera as well. So people I've spoke to at games really love the idea, and we've got some more exciting stuff going into the season, like we've seen with the goal gifts, and then also the extra bit of content as well, like the individual player edits, like you'll see. So yeah, it's been really good. The Tigers view, this is just the start. It was obviously got off to a tough start when we didn't score any goals against Yorkshire Amateur, but it was still great to capture the experience, to capture the essence of coming to a football game again. That was the first competitive game in 10 months. So it was great to see people coming down supporting the Tigers again, and it followed up well into a great victory against Sheffield FC, where we captured a bit of behind the scenes, and that's what I'm going to get more of as well, to learn about our opponents and to respect and be humble about who we are coming up against. So yeah, it's been a really good start. I'm hoping everyone's really enjoying it, and yeah, it's been great.
So obviously coming in, and we're all volunteers on the media side, and how we found it with some of the players as well. Obviously, it's professional on the pitch from Paz and the preparation that goes into it. So it's important, isn't it, to keep that professionalism off the field, and some of the players have been surprised by that.
Oh yeah, it's something that I've had to get used to as well. A lot of my sort of work is in a professional setting. So when I did come to the club, it was really good to get to know the coaches, to know Paz, to get to know Pete, the chairman, as well, and Keith, who's on the board, and then the players as well. It's been really fun to make these goal gifts, and it's had a great response from them. Hopefully, it's inspired them to want to get the extra goals. But I'm sure we'll have no problem with that this season. But yeah, no, it's been great to not only get to know people within the club, but it's also good to have that professional setting, and that's really showing not only on the pitch, but also on the social media setting with the work that you do, Dev. And obviously all things social media at the minute within the club, from this podcast to Tigers View, to all the graphics, to the goal gifts, everything's at such a professional level, and I'm sure the fan base will agree as well. Compared to the level that we are at, it's really impressive to see.
So obviously mentioning professionalism there, and I've maintained that memo and my laptop didn't, because then it decided it was going to beep. I should have muted that beforehand, so apologies. But like you've mentioned the GIFs already, and they were just absolutely entertaining to capture for yourself. Yeah. But the players really enjoyed it, and now they're sort of flourishing on social media. I know we got a couple of good comments on the Step Brothers sort of interpretation with Ewan and Bax.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to not only make something that will look good on social media, but something that will interact not only with the fans, but also well with the players as well. There's some really funny ones, some serious ones. So we've got a nice mix there, and you got to say we only had so many goal scorers yet, so we've got some really funny ones to come as well. So yeah.
And yeah, obviously you mentioned a couple of like kind comments in there, and I think I think Bristol City was sort of the team to make it popularise this. It's certain gold gifts and stuff with their Aidan Flint ones and Bobby Reed, which are absolutely hilarious. But teams have sort of tried to imitate that, but have been kind of unsuccessful. But I think obviously your work that you've done is absolutely brilliant to make it look like it could be, you expect it in the football league, and I think it does mirror what we're trying to do anyway. But we've mentioned it already about the Tigers' view. How would you assess your sort of opening couple of episodes? And could you also explain your day? Obviously, a lot of people will watch it. 4 to 8 minutes long so far, but it's a lot of preparation, a lot of editing time, and I just want to give people sort of a sense to how long it takes you.
Yeah, so like any project, there's always pre-production. So I'm always coming up with a shot list prior. Certain moments I want to capture more that I didn't get necessarily from the last game, which is hard to say because this is not a scripted event. Anything can happen in football, so you've got to be really flexible and really match what you're doing and what you're doing with your craft with the action that's going on the pitch. So for me, in my first episode against Yorkshire Amateur, essentially I was trying to get as close to the action as possible, which is hard. It's a large football field, and I've only got a certain length on my lens as well. So it's just trying to capture as much emotion as possible as well, whether it's from the fans, from the players, from the coaches. And as you've probably seen in a couple of the videos, and fans have probably seen me setting them up, I've been setting up goal cams, bench cams, so just little shots like that I can add. But yeah, no, I'm just trying to feel out what sort of the best shots are. Obviously prioritising capturing that the goal action, the shot action, getting as much on the field as possible. But when I do get the opportunity, it is about things behind the scenes as well, like the preparation going into a game, all the fans, because Worksop wouldn't be where they are without the fans. So they've got to have a lot of respect. I do want to get that across within some of the videos, and hopefully I will get that across in a certain project that we've got going forward as well, which we'll talk about in the future. So yeah, it's a lot of preparation, and it doesn't just stop on a match day. I'm editing for maybe half a day to a full day sometimes in the edit. So color grading, making sure things is sharp and it's very pleasing to the eye, and making sure it's an experience rather than just a video that you can probably put on in the background. I want people to feel the emotion within the video, within the moment. And hopefully I'm getting that across, but I promise it will get better and better and better, because I'm always trying to learn new things and new approaches. So I'm just, at this moment in time, I'm hoping everyone's enjoying the content and hoping that it's reflecting the club well as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely brilliant. I mean, obviously I see beforehand anyway, the rough edits, and once we get going, and then I'm still sat downstairs, and obviously on the we got YouTube as an app on the TV, so as soon as you stick it on there, I'd advise everyone to watch sort of on there, because the actual camera quality comes into full fruition when it's in 4K and 720 and the high levels, and it's been great to have you in, not just as a co-host today, but sort of, with these meetings have been going on since May time.
Yeah.
It's been a while. April actually, because obviously the pre-season, and it's been great to sort of use like the ideas and your ideas and mix them together, obviously like linking up on the goal graphics during the background and you bringing them in with them, so it's all positive. But let's go back now to the footballing side. We've got a feature with Aaron Sennett-Neilson coming up now. I sat down with him, we spoke about, because technically now Senna is one of the longest serving players. Him and Deegan were obviously still part of the squad when we went through the debt, carried through to Parry's reign. Obviously, Maka was part of that side. That was during the KJ days, but left obviously and then came back. So for a very, like, he's only 21. He's experienced a lot through the club, and we're starting to see a bit of maturity in his performances, aren't we?
Yeah, so he came on as a substitute. But yeah, to come on as a substitute and make that sort of impact when we did kind of need it. I'm sure, did they get a goal back at that point? Is that right?
There were so many turning points in that. I think we were 1-0 up at the time, and they just scored a couple of minutes after that.
Yeah, so it's a pivotal moment in the game, and to come on and get 2 goals, 2 very impressive goals as well. The first one obviously being in the right place at the right time, and the second one was just pure quality. And like you said, you can see that maturity really coming in. Much more maturity for his age as well. We spoke to him post match, and you can see that coming from him as well. He's not only just talking about his performance, but he's talking about the squad as a whole, and showing that sort of wider responsibility defensively as well. So it's really great to see that. And to be honest, I think this is only the start of what we are going to see from him. You can see he's very, very confident and attacking. He's very positive. He's a great runner with the ball, and as we saw on Saturday, he can strike a ball as well. So
obviously seeing Aaron for quite a while now, going into his 3rd season, even though his first time when he came through, we've seen him a bit, me and Luke, for the 21s, so how good he were in there. And then when he got that call up, it was just like, straight out the blocks. And then coming into last season with Paz, I think Craig really were impressed with him in pre-season. And as he mentioned in his interview, he's told Aaron that he'll give him his chance. And now he's got that chance currently, obviously coming off the bench against Yorkshire Amateur, played really well. Then he took that into the Sheffield FC where he played the full 90. He set up the first goal, and just on the ball, he were taking players on, he was making the right decisions. He was, like I said, showed a great maturity in his performance, and probably unfortunate not to start against Eastwood, but I think they probably had the Ossett game in mind and wanted to sort of save him for that. But he came on, did everything right, dragged us out of a dark period because we were struggling for creativity at times, and he was the instigator of most of that. And as I've said previously, knowing Aaron, I've always thought he's raw, and it was just about tapping into that quality and getting right, making the right decisions. And as you listen to the interview now, just a nice settlement with him, talking about his period, like before, starting with Sheffield Wednesday and Chesterfield. A bit about Atherton as well, when he was there, the 21s, and then coming through. And even he mentioned about how Paz has helped him develop, sort of started to going from, doing all these fancy tricks to actually, make the right decision first, get the ball into the right areas. And hopefully you enjoy this interview. It's probably one of the, obviously with my role at Huddersfield, I spoke to a lot of young players, but I don't think I've ever, spoke to somebody that's quite confident and really good at interviews, and Aaron's one of them. So please enjoy the feature, and also enjoy the fan questions that he answered at the end. So Aaron, welcome to Tiger Talk podcast. Let's start off with the start of pre-season then. How have you found that as a whole, including the pre-season where you got a couple of goals in there?
Yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it. Sort of pre-season, just keeping sort of a little bit of fitness, just once a week, sort of games and stuff like that. Really enjoyed that. Obviously, it's been quite a long and hard pre-season, a lot of running. But overall, I do find it sort of enjoyable just coming back with the lads, stuff like that, and just getting some games in. And just the more games, the better for me. Training's not bad, but you can't beat a game day. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it, to be fair.
Obviously, coming into a squad, and you've seen how it's developed over the last few years, and from last season to now, we've got some of the new lads in. What do you make to how the squad is shaping up?
I think, yeah, it's really, really shaping up really well. We've got sort of a good core of players. And yeah, I'm loving them, like the new lads that have come in as well. Think overall, they've all been fantastic. Like in the changing room, they're all good lads, and it helps because I think majority of them are similar age to me. So in the changing room, obviously got things in common, stuff like that. So yeah, it does really help, and yeah, they're just good to have.
You mentioned the age of the squad there. It's a young squad, but it's experienced, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the mix, obviously, you've got players like Bax, who's very experienced, stuff like that, and Tomo. So yeah, it's a really good mix, sort of experienced lads, and some of the younger lads that have still played at this level and played higher, sort of got pros, stuff like that. But yeah, it's a very, very good mix. And yeah, overall, a very good squad.
Going into the league season now, it was a disappointing start, wasn't it, against Yorkshire Amateur?
Yeah, I mean, I think straight away, every single one of us in that change room were definitely deflated. Sort of definitely ruined my weekend. Just sort of thinking about all the things we could have done, should have done, stuff like that. And obviously, like pre-season and pre-season, you can tell we're obviously not used to losing. So I think for all of the lads, it would just sort of, we were taken back and thought we'd need to sort of provide a better result come the next game.
And also, you came off the bench and made a good impact, in my opinion. What would you have made of your own performance there?
Yeah, I think I did well when coming on. I just sort of tried to get on the ball as much as possible. I think like me and Al sort of playing in them pockets. It's good, sort of very enjoyable for me because I think we're quite similar players. So when we come on, we can sort of play off each other, stuff like that. But yeah, as soon as I came on, just tried to get the ball as much as possible, get balls in the box, shots off, anything like that, just to try and maybe get something back. It wasn't meant to be sort of thing, but I do feel that I played, okay when I did come on, yeah.
And being on the bench and seeing what had happened from the start, because obviously yourself, Alex, and Iffy all came on, made an impact. Was there a little bit of fire in your belly to think, yeah, I want to come on and change this game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I hate losing anyway, so just see us losing 2-0, whatever, 3-0. I just wanted to get on straight away. Probably even as soon as we conceded that first goal, I'm thinking I just really, really wanted to get on. But yeah, and just happy to get on and try my best. Obviously, it didn't come off like we said, but yeah, just wanted to get straight on that pitch, really.
You then earned the start against Sheffield FC, a great assist for Alex's opener. What were your thoughts on the overall performance of the game and yours as well?
Yeah, I mean, overall, the game, I think we were fantastic. I think we sort of dominated from minute one. I think they had a sort of 5 minutes after we scored our first goal. I think that was it, really. But overall, really strong performance from the boys. So, yeah, buzzing with that. Sort of on a personal note, really happy, especially for that first goal, just to get that assist. I just think every game that I play, I want to try and get at least one goal or one assist every single game. That's sort of like my own little target I've set myself. So even if I'm coming on a sub, even if I've got 10 minutes, I really want to try and make something of the game, assist, goal, something like that. Because at the end of the day, that's how you win games, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you're doing sort of fancy skills, stuff like that. And I think I've definitely found that out over the last sort of pre-season and pre-season, that I don't need to do a lot when I get the ball. I've just got to make something happen. And but I do think that's sort of enjoyable to do anyway. If you get an assist or a goal, yeah, love it. So yeah, I think for the boys and myself, really, I think everyone's played really well. Yeah.
And obviously this season things are still yet to click. Still a lot of games to go though, and we'll talk about the Eastwood game now. Mixed emotions for yourself. Probably, obviously, 8 goals, 2 scored by yourself, but probably a disappointing result.
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the interview the other day. I think it's so demoralising, especially just having to go back to their place and sort of just try and bury it there. But yeah, it is annoying, but I think we've just got to pick our heads back up, forget about it completely, and just go straight into the game on Wednesday and get them beat straight away.
Me and yourself have both sat down a couple of times now and done an interview, but we've never really spoke about the early Aaron Sennett-Neilson coming through with Sheffield Wednesday and Chesterfield. Could you just describe a little bit about your first steps into football?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was sort of at Ches from a young age and played there for years and years and years. Got released and sort of found myself playing like some Sunday League football, just enjoying it. Then managed to get into Wednesday just under 16s. Then got my scholarship, stuff like that. And yeah, those are sort of just how I sort of got into it. But I mean, yeah, I've literally just been playing football since I could walk. So I just want to try and play football at the highest level possible.
And then going from there to our under-21s and Atherton, how did that journey sort of come about and how did them opportunities come for you?
Well, I mean, my cousin, he sort of got me into Atherton. So as soon as I came out of the academy, just got trucked straight into men's football at sort of 17, 18. Obviously, things are quite different now as well. Like, you've got a lot of younger lads playing men's football as well. But so I got straight into that sort of through my cousin, and then a few mates sort of joined and we played together. And then the 21s, just another sort of thing. Like, one of my mates just said, "Why don't you just come along?" So came along, and I think at that point I'm playing 2-3 matches a week, one with the 21 stuff like that, and then a couple of men's games. And I think obviously playing men's football, as soon as you sort of come out of your scholarship stuff like that, it is a lot different, and you've got to adapt to it, because academy football stuff like that is completely different. Even sort of under 21s football to men's football in any sort of league, it's completely different. But yeah, it's hard to adapt. But I think when you get there and you start to understand a little bit more, you can start getting sort of higher and progress.
You mentioned the progression there, and I remember Luke and I were watching, obviously, and reporting on the under-21s, and obviously we've seen that progression from you and then getting into the first team under KJ. What was that like, and obviously making your debut in the Northern Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. Sort of 1 week I'm playing for Atherton, and then the next week sort of been drafted in. But yeah, it was big step up for me. I can remember, especially at the time and sort of making my debut, stuff like that. I definitely felt sort of nervous and thinking, could I play at this level? Obviously that's a couple of years ago now. But yeah, it's defo nervous. But I think as soon as I got on the pitch, it's one of them where you sort of forget and you've just got to let your ability sort of do it. And I think I did settle in quite well, to be fair. Yeah.
And obviously, we can't talk about you getting into the first team without mentioning Chasetown away. The final game before all this pandemic kicked off, came off the bench. I think we were really, if I remember rightly, we were really under the cosh against Chasetown. I think James Gregory came on, came off, you came on, and momentum seemed to switch. And obviously, you got your first goal in first goal at semi-professional level for us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's sort of one game I can look back on and sort of remember. Just, yeah, I loved it. I think, obviously, coming on that early, I think in the first half as well, and sort of my first, like, sort of longer games for them, because usually maybe coming off the bench, stuff like that, playing 20. But, yeah, it was good to sort of get that 60, 65 minutes and actually get into the game. And I felt like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And getting the goal, yeah, I was absolutely buzzing. So, yeah, it was really good. But obviously, after that, season gets cancelled, knocked on the head. But, yeah, it is a bit annoying looking back at it now, because I think, obviously, scoring the goal and my own performance was quite good. I was thinking maybe I could get a few appearances at the level and sort of learn a bit more about this league. But obviously with it being cancelled, stuff like that, just had to wait a little bit now. So now I'm just sort of trying to get back to that sort of standard and try and play a few more games.
Obviously, we mentioned the P word, and then you mentioned lockdown. Just how frustrating has it been? Not just with football, as in playing, but also your own coaching stuff.
Yeah, I mean the lockdown sort of horrible, especially when you're in a sport, stuff like that. I mean, it is hard just having that time off, especially from just competitive games, because you can play friendlies and stuff like that, but nothing beats sort of playing a game and getting 3 points on the board. Like, there's no better feeling sort of when you get back into the change room and you've won a competitive game, stuff like the FA Cup as well. But there's just such a buzz. And in coaching as well, it's the same. It stopped all of that. Couldn't even do sort of one-to-ones, and obviously that was a big blow. But sort of back on track now. Everything feels a lot more normal, and it's just good to be back coaching and back playing.
Right, we'll move on to some fan questions. The first for the podcast so far.
Nice.
If anyone else, when we get guests on, just keep an eye on our social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the fans forum for any questions. So here's a mix of a few of them. We'll start with Luke Searston, who said, we've got two similar ones to start off with. But firstly, growing up, which player did you idolise?
Oh, it's a hard question. I'm going to say, I've got a couple to be fair. I'm going to say Beckham, just because it's Becks. And I love a bit of Beckham when I was younger. And then an out there one is probably Ronaldinho. Absolutely love Ronaldinho. I just think players like him, stuff like that. It's like Messi now as well. I think it's just stuff like that. I just love the magic sort of when they're dribbling, taking on players. I think I used to look up to those players. So I'm going to say three. Actually, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to say Messi, Ronaldinho, and Beckham.
And the next question from Rich is similar to Luke's, and I'll sort of adapt it a bit then. So he's put, who's your footballing icon? I'd say probably currently now, but also with the players that you said you idolise, do you sort of model your game on them as well?
Yes. Well, to be fair, I think icons sort of Ronaldo. I think you've got to look up to him and think, geez, like the amount of work he puts in is crazy. So I think that is just something I think you've got to look up to and think that is just amazing. But yeah, I think I do watch loads and loads of like clips of Messi. I've always watched him sort of throughout my life. So yeah, I do like sort of how like Ronaldinho and Messi take on players and stuff like that. So I do try and replicate that in some sort of way. Obviously not as good as those, but yeah, I do try and model my game a little bit around them. Yeah.
Gemma Louise asks, what's the best advice you would give to any young budding sports people going into football? Obviously, you'll have experienced this as well with your coaching side.
Yeah, I mean, I think with my coaching stuff like that, I think what I say to sort of the kids that I coach is, number one is just to enjoy it, because you start football and you love it. And I feel like as you get older, you start to either lose interest in it, stuff like that. I think the best thing is to do is just take the pressure off yourself and just enjoy it. And if you manage to do that, then you'll go places. I mean, you've got to have sort of the talent and the hard work that go with it. But I think the main thing when you play football is to enjoy it. Just make sure that is what you are doing. But yeah, like I said as well, you've got to have the hard work. If you don't work hard, then I don't think, you're not going to go very far. But it's that saying, it's like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But yeah, just those things, yeah.
Sean Presley now asks, have you got any aspirations to be a professional footballer? Obviously, he's also complimented you by saying you've got the technical ability and you're a great young player.
Oh, nice one. Thank you. But I think, to be fair, that is the goal. Maybe like one day, I think sort of when I was 18, I come out of Chesterfield. That is what I was trying more for, and I didn't really think of any other career. Whereas now, obviously, I have got plans of other careers. Like I'd love to be a a secondary school PE teacher, but if an opportunity came, sort of to go into the pro game, something I've never done before, it would be unreal. Or even just to go as high as I can with Worksop. I mean, like the way the club's going now, it looks like it's going that way. So even just going up the league sort of with Worksop, because obviously I'm 21 now, so 3-4 years you can be in the football league, can't you? So you just never know what's going to happen, really. But yeah, that is definitely a goal of mine, always has been.
That'd be nice. Another fan, Dean Spencer, with a different question. This is what brings the entertainment to the podcast. What is your favourite jacket potato topping?
Oh, what a question, by the way. I'm going to say it's got to be cheese and bean. You just can't go wrong with cheese and bean. Obviously, beans and then cheese. You can't be going like cheese on top and then beans on top of that. That's not right. But beans and cheese has got to be the one.
Oh man, I'm going to disappoint you. That I'm the opposite way around. I love it when the beans melt the cheese.
Oh, Devon, you had a stinker there. You are.
And next up, Ollerton Media Man, Liam Kent, replied with, when are you coming home? So I'm going to switch on that and say, obviously, Ollerton adore you. How did you find your time there?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. Sort of the first, sort of when I came out of Chairs now looking for a club and just sort of joined there, and just all the lads were just fantastic straight away. Management, everyone just loved it. And like, I think that is what made me fall back in love with football, just playing with those lads sort of thing. It were really good and just good to get experience in, like, in men's football. It doesn't matter sort of the level, stuff like that. It was just an overall enjoyable experience, and just playing for points is such a big thing. I mean, in my scholarship, stuff like that, all the way to like under 16s, you don't really have a full-on league where it's competitive. So having that as well and something to fight for and play for was really good. And I think, to be fair, that is now what I enjoy most about playing for Worksop, stuff like that, is just the challenge. You've got to go and get 3 points. Like, you've got to want to get promoted, stuff like that. And that's just what I love, really, yeah.
At Bron J2000, and I believe he does media at Chesterfield. I'm relying on this as an inside something, but he's asked tennis, football, or colouring.
It's got to be tennis, football. No, this is just like a little inside joke when we were coaching. So we just had kids colouring or playing head tennis, and yeah, fun. But we love a bit of head tennis, me and Bron. But I bet you if you asked him about the score, he wouldn't like to answer that one.
Peter Roberts with 2 questions, selfishly. First one, who was your favourite member of Little Mix?
What a question. I could not tell you one name out of Little Mix, so I'll be having words with him about these questions.
I'm guessing that's not your style of music then, the taste.
Change room now.
His second one, a legendary reference to The Office. Do you think there'll ever be a boy born that can swim faster than a shark?
Oh God, not a clue. But yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna have a word with Pete later on. Wow.
Adam at Studders. If football wasn't an option, what sport would you play, if any?
Great question. I think I've started playing a little bit of golf recently, to be fair. So I probably will play a little bit of golf. But what I do like, that is my favourite second sport, which is obviously not very common because you can't really do it here, but it's skiing. So if I could go and just ski every day, I'd go and ski every day. But it's obviously not that easy in England. But I've been a couple of times and I love that. Like, it's best feeling ever, yeah. So gotta be skiing.
We'll soon have a Winter Olympics coming up. So maybe we'll start training for that one.
Cool.
He also asks, if you wasn't a winger, what position would you see yourself as?
Well, to be fair, I think this season it's like against Chef Club, come on against Yorkshire Hammers, sort of played that centre midfield role, like the 10 in behind the strikers, like attacking midfield, or even just as a sort of box-to-box centre midfielder. I like myself in those positions as well as playing out wide. I think anyway you get the ball most is where I like. So I'm going to say centre midfield, or attacking midfield, defo.
As you mentioned, you've played a few different positions. I mean, at the start of the pre-season, I think you played one game at right wing back, and we've seen you all over the pitch, especially with the 21s as well. What would you say, obviously for younger players as well, is versatility more important than actually nailing down one position, or would you prefer to be in one position and make that your own?
I do think, to be fair, having multiple positions is a very good thing. I think when I coach now, if people come to me say they're a striker, I'll try them out in defence. If they say they're a defender, put them in midfield, striker, just change it up. Because I mean, I don't know. I think being able to play any position is super, super important. You know, in a game, someone gets injured, you know that player can fill in that position and do a good job. Not just sort of not have a clue what they're doing. They can fill in and do a good job. But I also do think on the flip side, being able to nail down one position and being very good at that position is sort of very useful. So I do think either or with that one. But I think for me, I do like to play different positions, and it depends on sort of the opposition and stuff like that of what position I'd sort of rather play in that game or sort of how we're playing. But yeah, it does depend.
Liam_GP.12 on Instagram asks, which team do you support?
Oh, it's a weird one. I've never actually supported a team really. I mean, I had a season ticket for Sheffield when I was like 7 years old. And then I had a season ticket at Ches when I was 12. So if I'm going to say a team, I'd probably say Sheffield.
I'll move on because obviously I'm an owl. Bailey Ward asks, who are the big personalities in the dressing room?
I think Tomo, he's one. Ben Tomlinson, he's definitely a character. And then Liam as well. I think Liam's class, funny lad as well. So yeah, it's got to be them two. Defo big characters. Always very, very loud. Very loud.
Yeah, he also asked, what's the relationship between you and Paz like, and obviously how have you found playing under Paz?
Yeah, I mean, I've loved it. I think he's got the same relationship with all the boys. I think he manages everyone sort of differently, and well, not differently, but sort of he knows how to manage different players, and I think that's really good. And I think as a manager, but I think that's just one of the best attributes you can have. But yeah, I've loved it. Like, it's been so good since he's come in. And I think, yeah, hopefully this season we can push on and do really well with him, yeah.
And finally, Liam Vardy asks, how many chickens would it take to kill a lion?
Vards and Pete are getting it after this. I'm going to ring them up and speak. Got to say about 250 chickens, got to be.
So, Aaron, thanks for coming on the podcast. All the best for the season.
Nice one. Thank you, mate. It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
So that's it. Episode 4 is over. Michael, thank you for stepping into Luke. And if you want to come back on again, it'd be nice to have you on.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. I've never really done stuff like this before, but I find it really fascinating. And being at the game on Saturday, and I think, yes, against Sheffield FC as well. We had a few fans coming up to you personally, telling you how good it's been. So it's definitely getting a good response from the fans. And yeah, I'd love to be back again. Hopefully, talk about more things about the Tigers to you, but also a very exciting project we've got going forward as well. So yeah, thank you for inviting me along.
So now we go on to Eastwood. Hopefully see you there. As Michael said, thank you for the love that it's been showing recently. I understand that it's obviously all new and we're recorded on limited services, and we're getting guests on and stuff like that. And the amount of I've got, if you put £1 for every time I said you'll be on your way to a millionaire now. But that's it for today's episode. Hopefully it'll get better, and we will see you on Wednesday night.